Anderson. Actually, in the 47th district. My name is Phil Anderson. I'm running for Wisconsin State Assembly for the 47th district, which is Fitchburg, Monona, McFarland, Town of Dunn, Town of Blooming Grove, Town of Madison. I have lived in Dane County since 1988. I left the U.S. Army, was discharged honorably, and came here to go to school and never left. I'm originally from Beloit, so I've lived in Wisconsin my whole life. After finishing school, getting married, having children, one of whom is here tonight, of whom I'm very proud is involved in politics as well, Samuel. I started to get involved in some community things. Both of our children went to private schools and I was involved in them. I've been involved in pro-life politics since the early 2000s. I was on the board of Pregnancy Helpline. But eventually decided in 2014 that I needed to actually do a little bit more, and I decided to run for office, actually state assembly for this district. At the time I wasn't a Republican, I ran as a Libertarian, and I didn't know anybody in politics. I knew nobody. I just decided to run, got my children involved, met Terry along the way, and we got 19% of the vote, which is pretty good for not having any sort of network. It reminded me a little bit of the conversation that Jennifer and I just had, actually. We were speaking before, a little earlier, don't mean to put you on the spot, but she said she just got involved in politics because she finally pretty much had too much. And that's where I was at in 2014. I get asked a lot, why did you get involved in politics? And I used to say that it was in 2014 that my kids said, if you're gonna keep complaining about the way things are, you should do something about it, which is sort of true. But I'm going to tell you a little story, because I do a lot of talking, about policies and positions and stuff, and as you can tell from what I've told you already, I'm obviously very pro-life, for school choice, anti-government overreach. I'm right down the ticket with the rest of you. A good friend of mine that I met in the United States Army met him in 1986, just contacted me the other day on a personal matter, but it reminded me of a story. We were stationed in El Paso together, and my friend Sean was a real cowboy, like the kind of guy that went everywhere with his boots and his hat on. I mean, you had to tell him before he went somewhere, if he shouldn't, that he couldn't. Otherwise, he'd show up at church, wherever, date, wherever, didn't matter. Always boots and hat, which was awesome. So then we all transferred to Germany, Kaiserslautern, Germany, which at the time, 100,000 Americans there, Ramstein Air Force Base is there. So, because the free market was free to act, there is a big country bar in Kaiserslautern for service people to go to, as well as Germans. You wouldn't believe it, but some of the West Germans at the time were sort of into country music. So it was awesome. So I got boots and a hat because I wanted to go with him and fit in. We had a great time and we're friends to this day. But what it reminds me of is that Lee Greenwood song, because in this big bar with the big oval thing where people two-stepped and I tried to two-step, when that song came on, I'm proud to be an American, and it got to that point where, and I'm actually getting a little choked up because I've thought about this for a while, but where he says that I proudly stand up, and every service member in the bar would stand up and have their lighter or whatever. They'd borrow a lighter and hold it up because they were so proud. I mean, they're service members, so clearly that's it. They should be, ideally. But it was such a powerful thing to stand up, to talk about standing up. And a lot of the things that, maybe this applies to some of you, but when I am at events and talking, the people that are finally standing up now, I'll give you another example of that. A week and a half ago, Public Health Madison and Dane County said, like at the last second, Friday night, that private schools couldn't open for in-person education, grades 3 through 12. It was a complete surprise to the administrators, the principals, everybody. Parochial schools, private schools, everybody. So immediately, people started to organize. Tom O'Day, who's a member of the board of Dane County Republican Party, has been primarily involved. I've been involved as well. There's been a huge reaction. And we've had 3 or 4 different protests, some online stuff, and actually today, they rolled back part of that emergency orders to allow for kids with disabilities to get some in-person education, which is obviously especially crucial for them. But of all the people that are involved in that movement, and there's probably 1,500 people involved in one way or another at this point, almost none of them are protesters or people that are politically involved. When I find them on social media, I talk to them, they don't know, a lot of them haven't even voted, but they're people of faith, good citizens who have finally got to that point where government has gone one step too far. And now, when we get a chance to talk to them, we can show them that government has gone too far in a lot of different places that they were willing to ignore before, but are no longer willing to ignore. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with my campaign. I want to bring the information to everybody in our district and show them that government has gone too far, they generally agree, and to be somebody that they can unite behind, that we can try to be elected in the face of what has been overwhelmingly Democratic voting in this district. And if we all just stand up and recognize that there are a lot of us out there that agree. Look at the polling, the recent polling about the president, the recent polling about the violence in our state capitol. There are more people with us that are against us. All we need to do is to get them to stand up, to come to events like this, to actually vote, to actually understand that they're in the majority. Maybe silently previously, but it's time to stand up and be heard, and we can do that. We can accomplish this. When we started this campaign, myself and all the other candidates were recruited by Becky Cleafish back in January, February, and in very blue districts. And at the time, we had to kind of look at ourselves and say, is this worth it? It's like, we thought at the time it's likely we'd lose based on previous election results. But none of us believe that now. Am I right? Vicki, am I right? We're going to win, right?
Oh, we're winning.
See? All of us believe that now, and it's not because of anything we've discovered, it's what we've discovered in everybody in the county that we talk to that feel like we do, that understand the same things we do. And all we need to do is reach out, and all you need to do is to reach out to your neighbor, to talk to the people that you normally have discussions with, express how you feel, be careful about using the president's name, but express, maybe this has gone too far, why does private property need to be destroyed, why can the government just close schools whenever they want? And they'll agree with you, and we'll win. And then we can restore a sense of order and civility and honesty and real science and real accountability to our state government by electing people like myself and my son and everyone else who's running. So if you're in Monona, McFarland, Fitchburg, Town of Dunn, Town of Blooming Grove, there's literature here. I'll have yard signs in a week as well. All I ask is that you promise to vote. If you, on my literature, you can connect with me on Facebook or on the webpage. If you can make a donation, that'd be great. But really, we're just looking for votes, for places to put yard signs, for people that are willing to just share a post on Facebook or whatever. That would be a huge step. So thanks for listening. I hope I didn't go over time, like I usually do. But thanks very much for coming out tonight. It's really heartwarming to see all of you here.